In this video I want to talk about how you're going to finance your buy-to-lets if your buy-to-lets need some work doing to them. Now, the premise behind this is that you would always be well advised to buy a property which needs some work doing to it, because there's an opportunity to add value and there's an opportunity to use its disrepair to negotiate a better price, unless of course you're following a strategy where you just want to have a property which is ready to let and you stick a tenant in and that's that. But I think for most people who watch my channel, they're aware of the possibilities that we can do more if we have a property which needs some work doing to it, which is great, except that depending upon who the buy-to-let lender is, they will only accept varying degrees of disrepair in granting you a buy-to-let mortgage. So for example, some lenders want the property to be pristine, other lenders will accept that the property may need some work doing to it, but only a limited amount of work. So what happens if you're not sure whether you're going to be able to get a standard buy-to-let mortgage on the property because you need to do perhaps a little bit more work than your normal buy-to-let, whatever that means? And I realise that sounds a bit woolly, but there is no standard definition and there's no hard and fast rules. All lenders have different criteria. But there are products which are specifically designed to help us with this. And in this video, in fact, I'm going to do two videos because I'm going to talk about two different lenders who have a similar approach, albeit slightly different terms. And I thought it would be useful just to showcase these so that you know that there are things that you can do and you can talk to your broker about this. Now, I'm going to name the lenders, which is unusual because if you watched any of my other videos about buy-to-let mortgages, I tend not to say who the lender is for the simple reason that most, if not all, lenders nowadays want you to go through an intermediary. They do not want you just to ring up the office and say, hello, I want a mortgage. Why? Because they need to know that you're getting the best advice. They can't just sell you a mortgage in case it's not the right mortgage for you. And you won't know which is the right mortgage for you because there's 100 different lenders out there offering something like 2,000 different buy-to-let mortgages. So it's an absolute crazy world out there and you need somebody who's in it full time to guide you to the right product. So with all that said, let's think about the first lender who I want to tell you about today, and that is Precise. Precise have a very interesting product which they call a bridge to let product, where basically you take out a bridging loan. A bridging loan is a short-term loan which bridges the gap between buying a property and putting the property onto what we could call proper or conventional or mainstream finance like buy-to-let. So it bridges the gap while you're doing the refurb. So they will lend you a short-term loan and then they will lend you the long-term buy-to-let mortgage once you finish the work. Now, being a short-term loan and being bridging, it's quite expensive. So here are the basic terms of the bridging element. 65% loan to value, interest rate starting at 0.54%, a minimum loan amount of £50,000, but, and this is a bit of a kicker really, a minimum valuation is required of £100,000 or £250,000 if you're in London. Slightly confusing because when you go on to the buy-to-let element, the minimum valuation then drops to £50,000 unless you're in London, in which case it's £150,000, but I assume you're not going to do loads of work on the property and make it less valuable. So we're stuck with that. You're basically looking for properties which pre-refurbished are going to have a minimum valuation of £100,000. 75% loan to value on the buy-to-let at rates starting at 3.14%. Now the great thing about this type of product is that the value will go out. It'll be the same valuer for the bridge and for the buy-to-let, and I assume they're going to give some kind of indicative value of what the property is going to be worth once the work's done. The same valuer will then go out just to make sure that you've done the works which you told them they were going to do, and assuming everything stacks up, because it's all in one product, you don't have to make two separate applications. This is all covered by one application, albeit there are two fees for the broker, because although it's one product to us, it's basically two products to Precise, and it's all very convenient. Unless, of course, you happen to be in a lower value area. I, for example, invest up in the northeast where I would want to refurbish the property to make it worth more than £100,000 after the refurb, but it wouldn't be worth £100,000 before the refurb. So what would I do? Well, as I said at the beginning of the video, there is another lender which I want to tell you about, and I will talk about that lender in the next video, and that will help us to do the cheaper deals. But if you're in a higher value area, then this Precise bridge to let product could be exactly the product that you need. Now, as I say, you need to go through a broker. If you do not have a broker, or if you want to have a recommendation for a broker, I'm very happy to put you in touch with my very good mortgage broker. Just email me, thepropertyteacher@gmail.com, thepropertyteacher@gmail.com. Just for complete transparency, if you end up doing business with my mortgage broker, I will get a small fee. It doesn't cost you anything, because as far as I know, it just comes out of the fees he would have got anyway. He's not charging you more because of me. So just email me and I'll be very happy to put you in touch. But if you already have a broker, just make sure that you go and talk to your broker, who may actually know of another way of financing it for you anyway, which may be even better than this product. Who knows? And if you come over to my website, www.thepropertyteacher.co.uk, and click on Learning with Peter, you'll find a list of all of the resources which I've created to help you to become a successful property investor, including the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, my best-selling ebook in which I'll take you step by step through everything that I did when I started in property and how I created a sizable portfolio of property, paying me passive income to replace my job income, having just been made redundant. And I did all of that starting with none of my own money. Really? Yes, I know it sounds like hype and you hear a lot of people talking about that kind of thing, but I literally started with none of my own money because, having been made redundant, like many people in their 30s as I was at the time, I didn't have any savings to fall back on, so I had to find other ways to do it. And in the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, I'm going to show you the system and the formula used by almost all successful property investors to create a multi-property portfolio producing passive income. In fact, in it, I'm going to show you everything that I did, including everything which I did right, so that you can copy me and do the same. And I'm also going to show you everything that I did wrong, so that you can avoid the mistakes that I made. And hopefully you'll be able to achieve far more than I did, and far more quickly. Plus, as well as the ebook, you're also going to receive a special video series as a special bonus from me, plus an audio download of me discussing with my mortgage broker how to get the very best mortgage deals and raise all the finance that you need to help finance your portfolio. Plus, I'm going to answer the 12 most common questions which are asked by new and would-be property investors. So if that all sounds good to you, please come over to my website, www.thepropertyteacher.co.uk, click on Learning with Peter, click on the link to the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, and once you've made your order, I look forward to sending you the link so that you can download your copy along with the free bonuses immediately. And until next time, here's to successful property investing.